Hey there, my name is Justin, and welcome to Deluge, Threnody of Crashing Waves. This is a Lovecraftian psychological horror game. It's been on my radar for a few months now, and it's finally in early access, so hopefully all the content's there. I think they're just kind of cleaning it up a little bit and getting it ready for a full release, but hopefully everything's there for us to play. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. Alright, let's see. We can activate full screen mode. It'll auto-save before each decision point. Okay, I like that. You're playing the early access version. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. I will definitely leave some thoughts, at least in this video, if nothing else. Is an interactive visual novel with multiple endings. Unlock each character's ending by choosing wisely at decision points. Note this access version does not have multiple endings implemented. Oh, okay, so that kind of answered my question. At the end of each chapter, you'll be shown a progress summary per character. There are 3 possible scores: perfect, indicating near perfect progress; nice, indicating average progress, still high enough to unlock that ending; and danger, indicating low progress. Now, I heard that each ending has a good and a bad, and I believe there's an ending for each character, and there's like 3 main girls. So I believe there's a good and a bad for each. So that makes a total of 6. Already really liking the CGs. I think these are awesome. Like, really, looks really nice. I get off the bus at the street corner while an old saying rang through my head: anyone who lives within their means suffers from the lack of imagination. By then, I had wasted yet another weekend fruitlessly inquiring the local businesses for part-time employment. You should have tried during harvest, they'd reply regretfully, if they didn't just laugh in my face. I was beginning to run out of options. Due to setbacks at my father's work, the same that had led him to slash my weekly allowance, we were forced to relocate to Abbotsford, an agricultural town with low cost of living. To me, it felt like the apocalypse. I had lost my home, my friends, my indulgent city life, and now I couldn't even find a part-time job. But in retrospect, I'll admit these were peaceful days, where money was the greatest problem on my carefree mind. Ooh, that sounds kind of ominous, like things are gonna get worse here. Gosh, these CGs are beautiful, though. That was before I realized I had a stalker. Gosh, she looks like that girl that had, like, the crazy eyes. Y'all know who I'm talking about, unless you're, like, really young. What the heck? There's an intro, too. Oh, this is so nice. I have known a great light in the sea. Have you seen the eyes of Leviathan? Gosh. I've played a few Lovecraftian games now. They're all wild. These tombs have witnessed the dawn of man. The centuries look upon us now. A boundless mass of human being, flowing in a stream without banks. Honestly, though, this is an early access game? This is really nice. I love this intro. This is awesome. When grapes of wrath have borne their fruit, when serpents coil through endless depths, decades of fright and sorrow will converge in I missed it. I'm sorry, I'm too slow. So this is my stalker, huh? I saw you loitering around the stores yesterday. You better admit it. Her name was Ina, a strange, determined girl. Though she was in the same class as I wouldn't be able to say who her friends were. I have no idea what you're talking about. So I guess our name is Abe? They say a man is only as good as his labor. I've got just the thing for you. Please follow me up to my office. You have an office? I thought you were a student. Unless she's a teacher, I don't know. Part 1, Pastoral. I followed her into a small, cluttered room that was situated next to the teacher's lounge. It's so unbearably hot in here. Let me take off that horrible uniform. Whoa. Okay. This game's going in a little bit different direction than I thought. Graciously, she removed her vest and jersey, crumpling them up into a ball, which she dropped into a corner of the room. I don't understand why they're making us wear... Is it viscose? It's practically tropical outside. She turned to me. You're anxious to get started, right? Let me explain what your duties will entail. I need someone to deliver a newspaper. Don't worry, I can see a panic forming in your eyes. Brains, however, are entirely optional for this job. Dang, I need that job. Freaking, I don't got none of those. No brains at all. She cut me off. If there's one thing this village is famous for, it's the stellar quality of our newspaper, the Sunday Abbot. Or at least, it is since I took over as editor-in-chief. Sounds very religious. The Abbot doesn't play games, you know. 4th place in the national ranking of school papers, an honorable mention by the Evening Mirror. I didn't even know we had a school newspaper. Wow, okay. Well, you don't need brains for this, right? A school paper. We're much more than that. Crime, corruption, unsolved mysteries. Did you know that we're the first to break news on the Sandford House affair? And I have so much more up my sleeve. Oh dang, we already got decisions here. I had something more respectable in mind. It's better than nothing, I'll take it. We're gonna go with that. Great, let me show you my mock-up for this week's issue. Hold up. So if you look at the date here, it's the 23rd OKT of 2022. It's interesting. Wonder what the OKT stands for. This week we're reporting on an interesting case. It's linked to a murder that happened last summer, quite some time before you arrived here. Back then, we brought the news of a seasonal worker who fell victim to a violent attack on one of the local farms. It was late at night. He was on his way to his sleeping quarters after his shift ended, when suddenly he was struck from behind by an anonymous assailant. Ina, in her apparent excitement, had begun tapping her right hand rhythmically against her skirt. His colleagues discovered him next morning, more dead than alive. What do you mean more dead than alive? How does that work? They transferred him to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Sadly, he wasn't able to give a testimony before he died. Poor guy. A full year has passed since that fateful night, so I decided to do due diligence. I went down to the police station to ask how the investigation into the attack was coming. However, the receptionist told me the case had been closed. Case closed? I asked her. Then who was the culprit? But she said the perpetrator had never been found. Then when I asked her if I could see the case file, she just mumbled something and directed me to the exit. Ina sighed. I know exactly what goes on down here. They never did a proper investigation. You know the guy who owns the farm where it all happened? He has ties to the town mayor. They're corrupt to the bone. Each and every one of them. This place is ruled by a small caucus of cronies that can do as they like as long as their powers go unchecked. That's why we need a quality newspaper to shine a light in the darkness. This is good reporting, I like it. I could detect a tremble in her voice. We really need a paper boy. Do it for your community, Abe. Those poor wretches need you. Gosh, such a sense of duty just for delivering a newspaper. Especially in 2022, who's still delivering newspapers? The afternoon was drawing to an end. By the time I had begun to notice the first signs of Ina's compelling presence, though I had ascribed to a youthful eccentricity at the time, not paying it any further attention. Wordlessly, we gathered our belongings and headed towards the stairs. Let's get down to business. We have just under 2,000 subscribers. I'll pay you 2 cents per paper delivered. That should add up to a decent salary for a morning's work. Okay, so that's like, what, like 40 bucks? Now remember, the printer will deliver tomorrow at 5 in the morning, so I want to see you there no later than 5:15. Not much of a morning person. See you then. She's just like, I don't care if you're a morning person. You're going to get up. You're going to be here. You're going to deliver this newspaper, and you're going to like it. That night, I lay in turmoil, pondering whether I should indulge Ina's ridiculous offer. With a neurotic, continuous tapping played through my head like a stenotype. Yeah, of course we're going to go deliver the newspaper. What do you mean? We need the money, okay? I mean, $40 a day is really not much. That's like really not great, but that's okay. Morning came all too soon. So you're finally there. The delivery guys left ages ago. I could have used some help with the boxes. Ina didn't appear the least bit thrilled to see me. Here's a list of all the addresses sorted by proximity to the school. Please try not to get lost. I'm off now. I have a lot of reading to catch up on. You can call me when you're done. She handed me a small business card with her number on it. Chief editor of the Sunday Abbot was printed below her name in tasteful lettering. I have a question. Though she appeared anxious to leave, she turned around at the last moment hesitantly. What? So, why is it called the Sunday Abbot? That's what I was wondering too. What do you mean? That doesn't make much sense, does it, if it's delivered on a Saturday? That's just the way it's always been. We deliver on Saturdays and people read it on Sundays. Some of our subscribers are very old-fashioned, you know. They wouldn't want us working on the Sabbath day. Anyways, good luck with your first day on the job. Well, okay then. It's a little ominous, but sure. Excuse me. Trying to clear my throat. You know, it's really hard sometimes. Especially when you're talking a lot. I get like so much like saliva built up. I resigned myself to the arduous labor. Even though it was October already, an unnatural sticky heat permeated through the air that made my work all the more unbearable. Honestly, that's like my favorite time of the day though, is early in the morning. It's like not too hot, not too cold. It's usually really nice. Like you could just use like a light jacket if it's a little bit chilly, but besides that, it's usually really nice. How quickly my situation had turned for the worse. No more than 2 months ago, I had been enjoying my life among the nation's elite, headed for a bright role on the world stage. I would be pained to see myself now spreading gutter journalism for a slave's wage. But then, out of nowhere, a snapping shadow lunged at me. The street erupted in violent mayhem as I fought to keep its razor-sharp fangs away from my jugular, using my messenger bag to shield myself from its old devouring clutches. Ah yes, the most fearful beast in the world, a dog. I was in a state of panic, frantically attempting to block its strikes as I sought a path to safety. And without further hesitation, I leapt over a garden wall, away from what I figured was the hound's territory. Sigurd! I must have ran at least 4 blocks before collapsing onto a playground bench. I took some time to come to my senses, all the while cursing Ina for not disclosing the dangers of the job. Dangers. Oh, I'm sure. That's really dangerous. A dog. If I encounter one more dog today, I will definitely... Sigurd! Over the sound of my heavy breathing, I could discern a fragile voice calling out. Oh gosh, the dog's not chasing after me, is it? Sigurd. Please stop hiding, Sigurd. Oh, okay. I don't think you're looking for the dog. A girl appeared, her eyes as bright as the summer sky. Hi there, are you delivering the mail? She seemed distracted by my sudden presence. No signs of her prior distress remained. Calling it mail may be an overstatement. It's just a weekly paper. I'd love to work as a postman one day. The honor, the excitement, to see the delight in people's eyes when they receive life-altering news. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I let out a self-depreciating chuckle. I know someone you might like to meet. Sigurd! She was at it again at the top of her lungs. Are you looking for someone? It's just my little brother, Sigurd. He loves playing hide and seek. He made me count to 100 this time, but when I turned around, he had disappeared without a trace. Yeah, that's how hide and seek works. You go and hide, and then the person counting, which is you go seek. Yeah. Might be a new concept, but that's how it works. Isn't that the object of the game? That was almost half an hour ago. Usually it doesn't stray so far. Oh, okay. Well, I was treating her like a child, but maybe I should be a little bit nicer. Well, I really hope you find him. I have to move now. They don't pay me by the hour. Will you please look out for Sigurd? Or Sigurd? He's wearing a light red fleece. I told him it was too warm for his winter clothes, but he never listens. Okay, so do we want to help her or no? Sure thing. I'll keep my eyes open. I mean, if I see him, you know. You're the best. Please send him over here if you find him. Okay. If we see him. Every mansion's had a garden, and every garden had a gate, and every cursed garden gate added 3 more seconds to my seemingly endless route. I really didn't mind the apartment complexes which had their letterboxes stacked conveniently together, but these gardens were ruining my average, and I was gradually coming to the conclusion that Ina had played me for a fool when suddenly... Oh my gosh, he's back. The infernal beast returned. Without abandon, it began fiercely snapping at my leg. Lady, you need to get a hold of your dog here. There, Pyrrhus. The man's doing an important job. Adeptly, she wrung the dog away from my quivering limbs. I'm sorry, Pyrrhus is usually very kind, but takes him a while to get used to strangers. Your dog has been terrorizing me all morning, madam. Oh, Pyrus isn't my dog. He lives here. The community has adopted him. You must be new in town. I'm Karen. It is Karen, right? It's not like Karen or something. I think it's Karen. I work at the city council. Welcome to the beautiful municipality of Abbotsford. There's a lot of words in here that are very hard to pronounce for someone like me. I'm so glad you're willing to do this job. I heard Ina had some unfortunate resignations as of late, but a small town like this really needs free press. Ina mentioned something along those lines. I handed her a paper, and as I was about to proceed on my route, her eyes fell on the headline. Wait a minute, this seems interesting. As she skimmed over the front page, a grave expression came over her face. This is very interesting indeed, what you've dug up here. You should be careful though, this is a very small community. She uttered the warning without concern in her voice. I'm just a paper boy. I know, I apologize. This really is very interesting. And with these words, she proceeded to head back towards the council building, until I suddenly recalled May's words. Wait, have you seen a little boy somewhere around here? She turned around, and a meaningful expression appeared on her face. I figure you've run into May. Don't worry too much. Little Sigurd always shows up in the end. Though the unfortunate may be entitled to Saturdays off, my fate is governed by a crueler power. If you want to experience hell on earth, I implore you to take a paper round. My hands lacerated, my legs buckling. Sigurd! Sigurd, where are you, Sigurd? Please come out. Mom will be angry. Her voice was reduced to a feeble wail. I heard it in the direction of the sound. Sigurd still hasn't come back. He's never been away this long. She was teary-eyed, shivering like a newborn calf. Please, Sigurd, please. Sigurd. And as she pleaded, her voice grew fainter, as though the last of her strength was slipping away. Until suddenly her eyes, which had been a vibrant blue a heartbeat ago, turned as an ashen white. Okay. A silent murmur escaped her lips. Sigurd, please, Sigurd, no! He's only 5, please don't take him. Having lost all of her prior vitality, May had become wholly possessed by a paralyzing entrancement. Staring into her pale white eyes, I could determine her essence was very far away at the time, a faint light in the distance close to dying out. Please, I promise he'll be good. Please let him stay with me. Sigurd! Her knees buckled. Had I not been fast enough to catch her, she would have plummeted to the ground. As I stood there, trying my best to keep her upright, I felt her strength gradually return. As suddenly as it appeared, the entrancement seemed to dissipate from her body. That was a little weird. Is anybody else going to talk about that? She remained quiet for a very long time. I'm sorry. Her voice was calm, almost devoid of emotion. I'm sorry, I forgot. Sigurd isn't here anymore. I apologize for causing you trouble. Oh. That's a little strange. So Sigurd's not here anymore. Okay. We'll accept that for now until we get some more details. I know this is like a Lovecraftian thing, and there's like, you know, some sea creature stuff going on. I don't really know how that ties in yet. Seemed a little demonic or something to me. And without any further clarification, she disappeared into the night. Oh, we better answer our phone. I picked up the phone. Where are you? What happened? I flinched from the outrage in her voice. Nothing happened. I'm back home from a long day's work. But these boxes, there are still 3 boxes here. That means we have disappointed subscribers. Ina, the job's killing me. I'll be contacting the civil labor report. Did he really take all day to do that? Like, that's crazy. You better finish the first thing this morning. I swear we'll have to... If we even have 1 canceled subscription over this, I'll be docking your pay till Christmas. Sure, Ina. So we're going to get 1 cent per paper instead of 2. The cataclysm of abuse has ended. She remained quiet for a while before resuming in a more subdued voice. Please be here early tomorrow morning. We need to deliver the remaining papers before the fundies get up for church. Sure, Ina. Alright, finally. A good night's rest. Gosh, if we were really doing that all day, that's crazy. For $40, are we really going to break our back over this? When Monday finally came, it felt like a welcome relief. I sat in class, dozing a little, plagued at times by flashbacks of rabid dogs. A girl approached me after classes ended. I understand how summer's drawing late and that we're all young and in our best spirits. I stared at her uncomprehendingly. I'd just like you to know that May is strictly off limits. Alarm bells went off in my head. May, you saw us on Saturday, but I can assure you I don't only the purest of intentions. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just gonna say I have no idea what you're talking about. You think you can lie yourself out of this one? Just realize this is a small community. Rumors travel fast in a place like this. I feel like we're like the biggest outsider here. If only she realized that romance was the furthest thing from my mind right now. She explained to me that May had a learning disability, that the school board was having trouble placing her in a suitable education. For the time being, May was only taught by a small group of church volunteers. Once she realized that I was sympathetic to the situation, her overall stance softened. It's good to see a new face in school, so how are you enjoying the Isle of Abbott? My name is Rika, by the way. Ria Cooper? Is it Cooper? Or Cooper? I don't know. Someone can correct me. I'm sure someone will. I apologize for not introducing myself sooner. Pleased to meet you. I'm Abe. Abe? Abe Jansen? Oh, I heard your father would be coming. It's good to know you finally arrived. You should know my dad, the pastor in town. Ooh, we got the pastor's daughter here. I'm afraid we're not a very religious family. Oh, he'll know my dad. I'm sure of it. Okay. I wouldn't mind visiting your church someday. In dealing with the pastor's daughter, I should probably be on my best behavior. I'm gonna put that, because that's accurate. Oh, I've been teased about that more than enough. Religion is a lot less heavy when you grow up around it, you know. Due to my father's status, people have been always treated me like a sacrosanct being, but to me, the Bible is like a wondrous storybook. A faraway glance appeared in her eyes. I've always loved to read about the fantastic creatures like the behemoth and the leviathan. Oh gosh, so you're sympathetic of these creatures that are probably going to have this big point in the story, huh? That's what I'm hearing. Did you hear about the leviathan? She began to recite. I have seen a great light in the sea. You may have seen the eyes of Leviathan, for his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. When Leviathan is hungry, he emits a fiery breath from his mouth and causes the waters of the deep to boil. She let out a dignified squeal of delight. That would give me nightmares. Isn't it exciting? Oh, I wonder what the Leviathan felt like, submerged all alone in pitch black darkness. She ran her fingers tenderly through her flaxen hair. And just then, the quiet corridor erupted in vitriolic clamor. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. No loitering during club time. I need you in my office right now. Okay, so I totally thought this girl was like a student. I guess she's probably more of like a teacher figure. You know, I'm so glad you found someone for the school paper. I'm not on the school paper. It's not a school paper. It's an independent periodical with 2,000 paying subscribers. Or at least, I don't know. Maybe she is a... No, she probably is a teacher or a student. I think she's just... I don't know, acts like she's a little bit older than she probably is. Come, Abe, follow me. Oh yeah, we were supposed to do those papers, huh? Afraid she might ignite an irate fury over my performance during the weekend, I timidly waited for her to begin speaking. Her initial outburst, however, appeared to be transient in nature. She was just sitting there, paging through a heavy book. After what felt like an eternity, she began to speak. Did you notice the crickets yesterday? I remained silent, assuming no answer was expected. The crickets sing during July and August. It's a sound they make to attract potential mates. I think I heard them chirping last night. Something this year isn't right. Their song tapered off a bit in September, but now they are out in full force again. I'm doing research on this for an article. It's a chore, so I'm going to ask you to take over some of my other duties. What? What do you mean I'm taking over some of your other duties? I'm not getting paid for this. I'll need you to cover the weekly progress section this week. The what now? The weekly progress is a reoccurring editorial in which we will write something about a local event or inhabitant of the town. Sadly, I inherited it from the previous editor-in-chief. It's a community favorite, so I haven't been able to cut it yet. But never mind, it's only 300 words. You can write about anything or anyone you see around town. Seems perfectly suited for you. I haven't agreed to any of this. Yeah, what am I getting paid? If you want to keep your job, you have to be a team player. Does that mean I'll be paid? Don't get any ideas. What do you mean don't get any ideas? I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting paid for my work. I don't know about this job. I think she's trying to scam us. Paying me 2 cents per paper. It's like, nothing. That's nada. That's zip. She returned to her book. Assuming I was no longer needed, I excused myself. But on my way to the door, she called after me. Say, that girl you were talking to. Rika. Oh, I'm sorry. I just skipped over that. Rika, what did she say to you? I was silent for a second. Nothing much. She approached me in the hallway. Apparently her family are involved with religion. Her father is one of the most powerful figures in town, the leader of the Church of Abbotsford. Whatever that means. Ina stared at me with an intent gaze. I want you to befriend Rika. If you get close to her, we'll be privy to a trove of information on the sordid power structures within the community. Oh, so we're playing this game, huh? We'll have so many exclusives. Wouldn't that be a pretty underhanded reason to befriend somebody? You're a journalist now. You have to play the game in order to get to the bottom of things. I thought I was a paper boy. What? You keep changing what I am. Yeah, exactly. I thought I was a paper boy. Should I befriend her? I'm gonna say, well, I thought I was a paper boy. And a very bad one at that. Okay, I see how it is. You know, I haven't been paid yet. She ignored my remark. There was something strange Rika said. I believe she called this place the Isle of Abbot. Does that make sense to you? The Isle of Abbot? That's just a phrase the old people use. Do you know this town was once surrounded by miles and miles of water? This place? You can't be serious. We couldn't be farther from the sea down here. She sighed. You may have noticed how the village of Abbotsford lies slightly elevated above the surrounding fields. Not really. Well, let me show you on the map. She browsed around on her phone for a while before handing it to me. Okay, cool. We get to see. Okay, so we are around here. Marsh Polder? Mainland? I wonder if this is like based on a real place or how that works. I think it's somewhere like European, because I remember I follow the creator of this game on Twitter, and he was posting like some sites. Gosh, I can't remember from where. So we got Rybury, Hopetown, Bremersburg. Interesting. And then we got Abbotsford down here. Look at the situation as it is today. You can see the town of Abbotsford down here, surrounded by the sprawling farmland of the Marsh Polder. I guess. I mean, we are kind of close to this lake, huh? However, it didn't always look like this. The Marsh Polder is an artificial island constructed during the first half of the 20th century. It was initially conceptualized as a way to meet the rising demand for housing and farmland. Okay, interesting. The lake used to be an inland sea, but they built a great dam in the north, severing its connection to the ocean. So it could potentially connect to the ocean again. There were times of unfettered progress. The national government didn't shy away from major developmental projects. They stemmed off of a large area of water before proceeding to pump it dry. That's how the stretch of land was formed that would become the Marsh Polder. She took back her phone and called up different map. I think it's supposed to be a different map. This is what it looked like before 1942. Interesting. So that was the Isle of Abbot. So there's like this little like strip here that looks kind of like a... Gosh, I don't even know what that looks like. Honestly, it looks like a sideways Y. Interesting. So this was the Ala Bay. So this would have been connected to the ocean then, not just like a lake. As you can see, there's no sign of the Marsh Polder yet. The Lake of Ale was still an inland sea. And Abbotsford was an island. Indeed it was. A few graybirds around here might still recall the day when the last of the water was pumped out and their homestead was an island no more. Ina put away her phone and returned to her book, softly muttering to herself. That incessant chirping, I can hear it even in here. I wonder if they've entered a second mating season. Maybe Spengler was right. I left her office quietly. I mean, I can hear the birds. As I walked back home this afternoon, my mind was preoccupied exploring all the different strategies I could employ to restore my lavish city life. I figured I'd stay at my aunt's house until I was able to finance a place of my own. That, or I could find a comfortable bridge to sleep under. I was so preoccupied with my thoughts that I didn't notice a familiar figure approaching. Is it May? Hi there, come to the stones with me. Okay. I left back when I realized who it was. Sorry, I'm not allowed to talk to you. What? Are you joking? Who said that? The, Cooper girl. Cornered me after class. She let out a childish giggle. Rika? Oh, she's just teasing you. No way, I'll definitely end with my head on a pike. but isn't that where you lost your bag? In one fell swoop, May has snatched her book bag from my book bag from my shoulder and set off towards the edge of town. What? So she just grabs our bag, huh? Who do you think you are? As soon as I realized what had happened, I gave pursuit, and she had a sizable head start. You just stole my bag. How rude. I chased her along a short country trail which led us to the opening in the trees. In the center stood two massive megaliths, partly buried in the ground. The surroundings seemed well maintained. After May relinquished my bag, I took a few seconds to catch my breath. She appeared to be reveling in mirth. I'm so glad you found your books again. Please try to be more responsible next time. This girl, what? Do you see this chick? How rude. She's kind of funny, though. Do you see these giant stones? There are many of them scattered across the island. I like to come here whenever I'm sad. They warm me up inside. She was right. When I placed my hand on one of the rocks, I could feel it emanate a mysterious radiating heat. Though I figured that was likely due to the midday sun. Most likely. So are you feeling sad right now? She blushed. No. To be honest, I come here every night. It's not that far from the farm, you know? Oh, you live on a farm. Interesting. I guess these are kind of farmlands, huh? She gave me a tour of the archaeological site, leading me around the megaliths at least 3 times. When she had ascertained that we had observed the stones from every possible angle, she drew my attention to a small placard. What are you, a snake? She appeared to have difficulty deciphering the writing. She looked up at me. Hey, what does that say? Bent over to look at the text, which appeared perfectly legible to me, I began to read. Oh, I forgot. You know, there's a little bit of a... I don't remember how they described it. I don't want to say the wrong word and make it sound bad, you know? Swifter Bant culture. Okay, no, to be honest, I wouldn't have even known what that is. I decided to read on, not questioning her curious display of illiteracy. It says here that these stones were erected by an ancient civilization. They used them as grave mounds as a place to venerate their chthonic deities. Sounds like it has something in relation to Cthulhu. She was staring at me with a captivated expression in her eyes. Please read more. Read more. The Swifter Bant people lived here between 7,500 and 5,500 years ago, during the early Neolithic. They were an early agrarian society that had held livestock and also resorted to hunting at times. The stones these megaliths were made from aren't native to the region, but were brought here from Scandinavia during the Ice Ages. That means they were carried here by large sheets of glacial ice. When the Sael Ice Age ended about 130,000. There we go. It took me a second. The rocks and debris that were caught in the ice stayed behind. She stared off into the distance, making me fear for a second that she would revert into a mysterious episode again, like on the night after I first met her. But she remained fully aware. She began to speak. Isn't that a beautiful thought? When the Swifter Bant people found these stones, they had been lying here for more than 100,000 years. The centuries since then have passed in no more than a heartbeat. Then she erupted in a smile as bright as the setting sun. It makes me so happy to think that these stones will still be here standing in another 100,000 years. People will move and kingdoms will fall, but these stones will remain. It'll be like nothing has really changed. I couldn't say it wasn't a reassuring thought, though I welcomed it at the time, as it put my own growing issues somewhat into perspective. These stones would remain here long after I'd recovered from bankruptcy, long after the burden of my part-time job had herniated my spine, long after I'd succumbed to ennui in this godforsaken backwater town, where a couple of oversized rocks were, for some reason, considered a major tourist attraction. I suppose you could look at it like that. When night fell, I brought May back to her parents' farm. As we walked in silence, I clutched my book bag tightly under my arm. My gaze wandered off into the fields, these endless fields of impervious green that tapered off into nothingness. I thought to myself how straight they were, endued with a perfect geometric flatness, as though they had been carefully sleekened out by the trowel of an obsessive god. Okay, so I'm in danger with her, perfect with her, and nice. How did I get a perfect with her? I had no idea. So anyways, we are now in part 2. I'm going to give a... Okay, we're getting a knock, or a ring on the door. I woke to a furious ringing in the doorbell. Can I pause this right here? Oh gosh, it's still going. Okay, so you're gonna have to deal with that real quick while I do my outro. But anyways, guys, I'm really liking this game so far. I have no idea really where it's going. Obviously, there's something about, you know, Lovecraftian horror in this. So I'm assuming, like, maybe the town's going to get surrounded by water again, kind of like it was before. Something crazy is going to happen. But I'm really enjoying this so far, and it seems like the characters are interesting enough. I'm definitely going to be playing more of this. So definitely check that out here soon. But hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'll see you in the next video.